Because of Winn-Dixie. Because of Winn-Dixie. Sometimes the family you need begins with a stranger. Life doesn't always break apart all at once. Sometimes it happens quietly. A goodbye that never gets explained. A friendship that slowly disappears. A house that feels empty even when someone is inside it. A silence that grows louder every day. Many people spend years carrying invisible loneliness, smiling on the outside, hurting on the inside. Because of Winn-Dixie begins with that quiet loneliness. But instead of asking how to escape it, the novel asks something more hopeful. What if healing begins with something as simple as opening your heart to another living being? Sometimes the smallest connection becomes the beginning of an entirely new life. Loneliness is more common than we admit. We often think loneliness belongs only to people who are physically alone. But loneliness has very little to do with the number of people around us. A crowded room can still feel empty. A family can still feel distant. A friendship can still leave us unseen. Opal has a father, a home, a town filled with people. Yet she still feels isolated. Because what she longs for is not company. She longs for connection. There's a profound difference between being surrounded by people and truly belonging. Healing often arrives unexpectedly. Opal never sets out looking for a miracle. She goes to the grocery store, and she comes home with a stray dog. Winn-Dixie is messy, loud, unpredictable, but he changes everything. Not because he speaks, not because he solves problems, but because he opens doors. The dog becomes a bridge between strangers. People who might never have spoken suddenly begin sharing their stories. Sometimes healing doesn't arrive as an answer. It arrives as an invitation. Every person has a story you cannot see. One of the novel's quietest lessons is also one of its deepest. Every person carries a hidden story. The grumpy old neighbor, the shy child, the quiet librarian, the woman everyone misunderstands, the man who rarely smiles. At first glance, they appear ordinary, sometimes unpleasant, sometimes strange. But beneath every face is a history. Dreams, regrets, heartbreak, hope. People rarely become who they are overnight. They are shaped by experiences we may never witness. Understanding begins when curiosity becomes stronger than judgment. The weight of unanswered questions. Some questions stay with us for years. Why did someone leave? Why wasn't I enough? Could I have changed what happened? Opal carries these questions about her mother. Like many children, she searches for reasons where none are easy to find. Loss often leaves behind silence instead of explanation. And silence can be one of the hardest things to live with. The novel reminds us that healing doesn't always come from finding every answer. Sometimes it comes from learning how to live with the questions. Friendship begins with vulnerability. Most people think friendships begin because people are similar. But often they begin because someone chooses to be honest. People connect through shared imperfections, shared fears, shared loneliness. As Opal meets more people in her town, she discovers that everyone carries invisible wounds. And strangely, those wounds become the foundation of genuine friendship. Perfect people are difficult to relate to. Honest people are easy to love. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Life guarantees disappointment. People leave. People make mistakes. People fail us. The question is not whether pain will come. It will. The real question is what we choose to do afterward. Forgiveness does not erase the past. It does not pretend the hurt never happened. Instead, forgiveness frees us from allowing yesterday's pain to control tomorrow's life. It is less a gift to the person who hurt us than a gift to ourselves. Community is built one conversation at a time. Many people dream of finding the perfect community, but communities are not found. They are built. One conversation, one shared meal, one act of kindness, one moment of understanding. Winn-Dixie unknowingly brings people together who might otherwise remain strangers. The novel quietly suggests that belonging isn't created by geography. It's created by generosity. Listening can heal more than advice. When someone is hurting, our instinct is often to fix the problem, offer solutions, give explanations, find answers. But the people in this story discover something different. Sometimes the greatest gift is simply listening, allowing someone to tell their story, allowing someone to feel heard. People often begin healing not when someone solves their problems, but when someone finally understands them. Hope is a decision. Hope is often misunderstood as optimism, as believing everything will work out perfectly. But hope is something stronger. Hope chooses to keep loving after loss, to keep trusting after disappointment, to keep reaching toward people after loneliness. Hope isn't naive. It is courageous, because it risks disappointment in order to remain open to joy. The beauty of imperfect people. The characters in this novel are not heroes. They are ordinary people, people carrying grief, mistakes, regrets, broken dreams. Yet together they create something beautiful. This is one of the book's greatest insights. Life does not become meaningful because people are perfect. It becomes meaningful because imperfect people choose to care for one another anyway. Love leaves traces. Even when people leave, they leave something behind. Memories, lessons, habits, stories. The people we love continue shaping us long after they are gone. Love is not measured only by presence. It is also measured by influence. Every act of kindness becomes part of another person's life. In this way, love never truly disappears. It simply changes form. The courage to open your heart again. Pain often teaches people to protect themselves, to trust less, expect less, feel less. But protecting your heart too carefully creates another kind of suffering. Isolation. The novel gently argues that love is always a risk. Friendship is always uncertain. Loss is always possible. Yet a closed heart avoids pain only by also avoiding joy. The richest lives belong not to those who never get hurt, but to those who continue loving anyway. Ordinary days hold extraordinary moments. There are no epic battles in this story. No kingdoms, no superhéroes, only conversations, friendships, a small town, a stray dog. Yet these ordinary moments carry extraordinary meaning, because life itself is mostly ordinary, and the deepest transformations often happen quietly. A conversation on a porch, a shared laugh, a story told honestly. These moments rarely make headlines, but they shape who we become, what it means to belong. In the end, Opal discovers something that many adults spend their entire lives searching for. Belonging is not about having a perfect family, a perfect past, or perfect circumstances. Belonging is created whenever people choose one another, whenever compassion becomes stronger than judgment, whenever strangers become friends. Home is not always a place. Sometimes home is simply the people who make you feel accepted exactly as you are. Because of Winn-Dixie is far more than a story about a little girl and a stray dog. It is a gentle meditation on loneliness, forgiveness, friendship, grief, and the quiet courage required to open our hearts after loss. It reminds us that every person carries an unseen story. that healing often begins with listening, that communities are built through kindness, and that the smallest acts of compassion can transform an ordinary life. Because in the end, happiness rarely arrives through extraordinary events. It arrives through ordinary people who choose to care for one another. Sometimes all it takes is one unexpected friendship to remind us that we were never meant to walk through life alone. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Like if this story reminded you that friendship can appear when you least expect it. Comment, what unexpected friendship has changed your life? Share this with someone who could use a little more kindness today.